All right. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Kol Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Shalom to you, sincere Akim, out there listening, learning, and pushing this truth. And shalom to the few sincere Akwath that are out there listening and learning as well. With that being said, Adawan Ratazah, this will be edifying. As usual, I'm going to go into Rakah Kwadash. And it's going to be super quick. I just wanted to remind you, pretty sure you already know, you're paying attention. Don't get rocked to sleep. Now is not the time to get complacent, get caught up in a false sense of security. I know personally when I go to the grocery store, I'm seeing empty shelves again. I'm seeing a lot of things, a lot of gaps. It has the COVID vibes all over again. I don't know if you're noticing it, but where I'm at, I'm noticing it. And of course, I'm seeing social media, various social media posts about what's about to happen from the horse's mouth, from different truckers. Okay, matter of fact, you had CEOs of major retail corporations that actually allegedly advised Trump what's about to happen if he doesn't reverse these tariffs on China. Okay, so again, don't get rocked to sleep, man. Keep your eyes open, head on a swivel. Things are not going to get better. Things are only going to get worse. So I'll leave the link for this video in the description. But as you can see, it says U.S. port shipment slump amid trade war. But you should already know that. It says amid the ongoing trade war between the U.S. and China, in which President Trump has imposed a massive 145% tariff on imports from China, ports across the United States are already beginning to see the impacts. And everybody's saying it's not really that bad yet because they had like an oversupply. Allegedly, a lot of these corporations and these businesses already knew or had an idea that Trump was going to do something like this, so they actually stocked up. Okay, they said allegedly, I don't know, this is what they're saying. Allegedly, they're saying that the last couple, not right now, but the last couple cargo ships that were coming over here, they were piled high with goods. So we had a oversupply of goods, but that's dwindling drastically, and it takes time for you to get these goods. It takes weeks, for it to go from the warehouse to the ship, to the trucks, to the stores, to the shelves. Okay, so even if he reversed the tariffs right now, today, the damage still is done. You're gonna feel the effects. It's inevitable. Okay, but it doesn't look like he's gonna reverse the tariffs, because as you can see, even in this video, which again I'll leave the link in the description, China is still saying that they're not in talks. There's no talking going on. Okay, so it's looking like it's going to be a real ugly summer. So it says, this week, Gene Soroka, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, and this is one of the largest ports in America. A lot of the goods from, of course, because it's on the West Coast. China's right there, right? Oh, and that bitch is damn near fully automated. I don't know if it was this one, but one of the ports. Remember when the kind of sidebar, but remember when the port workers were striking? One of the complaints was about automation. Well, they reference one of these ports that's in Cali is pretty much fully automated already. Okay. So anyway, just a little sidebar. So it says, this week, Gene Soroka, executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, so there it is right there, the largest container port in the Western Hemisphere, said that shipments out of China for major retailers have essentially ceased. Wow. As he predicted a further 35% decline in cargo in the coming weeks. And you're seeing a lot of propaganda, a lot of fake news coming out about how China's hurting. China's not really hurting, man. I believe that's propaganda by the West, because China ships their goods. Even when I was thinking about it, and other people were chiming in, China ships their goods all around the world. They weren't just relying on America. I think they said America accounted for maybe like 12%. I forget. But they ship their goods everywhere, man. So they not hurting like that. They're still doing business, man. The other nations don't consume at the rate of America, but they consume nonetheless. Okay? They're sending their goods to Africa. They're sending their goods to South America. They're different European nations. They didn't solely rely on America. So they're not hurting like that, man. Okay? So that's pretty much the point. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't get complacent. Don't get rocked to sleep. Don't believe this fake news, this false sense of security that these people are trying to lull you into. Okay? Because they're just trying to control the collapse. They're trying to control the chaos. They don't want you to panic too much. Hence why we've been in a recession, but they're not openly saying it. We've been in a recession, and we're heading for the greatest depression ever. So again, I didn't want to make this long. I just want a quick reminder, and two scriptures, and I'll close out. 2 Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly, and like I always keep saying, it's not suddenly. It's really gradually, because Edom deals with gradualism. But it's going to appear suddenly to the masses because they're not paying attention. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not being prudent. They're not being circumspect. They're not really opening up their eyes and looking around and paying attention to what's going on. So it's going to appear suddenly. But it's been in the works. Okay? Well, the supply chain never really even bounced back from the Great Lockdown. It never really recovered, man. So it's only going to get, it's inevitable. So it says it's getting exponentially worse. So it says, and not to mention, I haven't spoken on it in a while, but we used to harp on the fact that this weather, there's been droughts, heavy flooding. These farmers, they've been locusts attacking crops. Yahweh Bashim Hawashai been plaguing the earth. He's visiting the world that he made. So things been, the bird flu, culling of the birds, and avian flu, all this type shit been disrupting the supply chain. So things are just is getting everything is getting compacted on top of each other. Everything is getting worse and worse if you're paying attention. So it's not really suddenly. It's going to be suddenly for the masses because they're asleep. But we've seen this coming a mile away. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. We've been looking for this. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And it's looking like we in them times, man. Because everything is coming to a screeching halt. Nothing already was moving in Babylon as far as real estate, the automotive industry. People really weren't buying like that because they don't have discretionary funds. But you could still, which I got 2 Ezra 16, you could still go to these big box stores like Costco's and Sam's Club, and but even those stores are starting to look scarce. Okay, even they're starting to have shortages. All right? So it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet, and it's funny, You had a lot of business, a lot of grocery stores that went out of business. Now that I think about it, a lot of Walgreens, CVS's, Walmart's closing down, and a lot of different stores closed down. Family Dollars, 99-cent stores. So you would think that they would have a mass. You shouldn't be a shortage like that. There's less stores. A lot of stores are boarded up. So that if you really paying attention, we in horrific times. It says, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Because that's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble is about to be in full swing. You just had, what was that? Spain and Portugal, little pieces of France. Yesterday had a complete blackout. I believe that they're talking about it was a rare solar event or some bullshit excuse. I believe they testing the grid. Because there's going to be chaos all over, man. Foreshadowing of things to come. The grid is going to go down. You people it's about to get nasty, man. And it's being engineered, like Elder Apostle Tahar said, by these elite. They're order ad chaos. Pressure from above, pressure from below. They're all in cahoots. They want the chaos so that they can usher in this new digital system. They want to collapse the dollar. They want to collapse this global economy. So it says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. The love of many is going to wax cold for the lack of bread, for fear, great tribulation. People going to lose their mind. They're going to turn on one another. People going to be going up in their neighbor's house. First, they're going to be raiding these stores, but the stores are going to be empty. So what are they going to resort to? After that, they're going to go into their neighbors' homes, with the sword. It's going to be no work for Egypt. Horrific times, man. Things are getting ugly. Don't get rocked to sleep. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. And again, that's going into the grid collapsing. That's going into the water supply being cut off. And everything is connected to the electrical grid. And you see how easy in the blink of an eye everything can be shut off. It's not far-fetched. We in them times. It's not like the ancient world where you could do things, pump water manually and do things manually. Everything is connected to the electrical grid. And so it says, whosoever remaineth from all these things that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. The end of what? Esau's world, his age, his rulership, his kingdom, his empire. Esau's the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It's 8, so my bad. It's 2 Ezra 8 and 50. I might as well get that. Salakia. I was thinking it was 6 and 50. Elder Apostle Ricard's favorite scripture. My bad. Salah, I might as well pull it. For many great, 2 Ezra 8 and 50, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Okay? You people about to be humbled. And you have no excuse. We've seen this coming for ages, man. We've been warning you about this. This is just the beginning of sorrows. Close out here. Don't believe the hype, man. Don't believe Esau's lies. Don't believe his propaganda, his fake news. Use your brain. Do some critical thinking. Open up your eyes. Look around. Things are bad, man. Really bad. Very bad. And they're only going to get worse. Salakia. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. A famine is, you best believe, a famine is coming. A famine is coming. But the famine you really need to be worried about is the famine of the word, because that's coming also. And that's going to be even more grievous. So it says, but an actual famine is coming. A famine of food, victuals. A famine of water. A lack of water. A lack of resources. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The slain of the Lord shall be many. The beginning of wars, and you see these wars are intensifying all around the world. The latest rumors of war is India and Pakistan. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is stirring these nations up, mustering the host of the battle, waking up the mighty men. All these nations are getting in that war spirit. Ultimately, for what? The war to end all wars, in the third woe, the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. That spirit is being stirred in the earth, and it's not just going to be it's going to be all type of wars, civil wars, race wars, class wars. People about to lose their fucking minds, man. It says the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, bad times. This is just the beginning. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. That's why it's going to appear suddenly, because they're not being mindful. They're not taking heed. They're not considering. They're putting off the evil day. Behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And like I always say, that's not even the case no more. Everything is through the roof. Everything is increasing. Why? Because the value of the dollar is collapsing. We're heading into inflation, which is going to lead to hyperinflation. You go to the grocery store, everything is doubling, tripling. You know? How much more so when there's a lack of goods? In school and economics, you learn about supply and demand. When the demand goes down, when the supply goes down, the prices increase. You know? So it says, behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth. Evils are growing, man. Sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. A oldie but goodie, like I always say. That's one of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's favorite ways to plague your ass. That you can really humble a motherfucker with famine when your ribs is touching. All your pride just escapes. You know? You get humbled real quick. You could be humbled overnight. And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy. That's the point. That's the point, man. So, hey, man, we in beautiful times, horrific times, but beautiful times nonetheless. You know, these are the times that we've been looking forward to, because they coincide with our salvation. Through much tribulation, we shall enter into the kingdom. You know, but we gonna be all right. Adawan Ratazal, we keep enduring. You know, my servants shall eat, but they shall starve. You know, we're happy now. You know, we're happy now because, hey, we have faith. We trust Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. He's going to make good on everything he said. A reward is coming for the righteous and for the wicked. And we in them times. 'Tis the season of judgment. So keep watching, keep praying, keep fighting, keep pushing. We're close. Shalom. Wa abad babal. Kwam Yasharallah.